We had 88 sign up, Laura.
Oh, wow. No pressure.
I probably shouldn't have told you that, should I? It's just, you're good. All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're really excited that you're able to join us today. And I just want to thank you. We're so excited that Laura Mangan, our president, is actually going to be presenting using LinkedIn to increase your professional presence. And we're really pleased to present this webinar as a benefit to your membership in AFWA. And we have just a few housekeeping items that we'd like to go through. This program qualifies for 1 CPE unit based on 50 minutes of instruction and questions and answers. And to qualify, you have to be on the webinar for the entire time, and you must participate in all 3 polling questions. So if you're having troubles participating in the polling questions, you can always put your answers in the chat. And if not, just send me an email. And I'm Cindy Stanley, so feel free to send me an email if nothing else, and we'll make sure that you get credit for being on the webinar. The CPE certificates and evaluations and the slide deck will actually be sent out within 1 week following the webinar. And so we've got a lot of material to cover today. And I know I've seen a portion of this program before, and Laura does an exceptional job in presenting this. So we're very excited to have her join us and do this presentation for us. Laura has over 20 years of experience in managerial accounting and is currently controller of SV Probe in Tempe, Arizona. She's a certified public accountant and certified management accountant and earned her MBA from Arizona State University. Laura is an active member of the Institute of Management Accountants in the Accounting and Financial Women's Alliance, currently serving as AFWA 2019-2020 National President. On behalf of AFWA, we'd like to really thank Laura for doing this program for us and for our presentation for our members. And at this time, I'd like to turn the program over to our instructor, Laura Mangan. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Cindy. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. And today's session, we're going to take a look at how we can use LinkedIn to increase our professional presence. And I think with the changes where so many people are working from home, we've lost a lot of our in-person connections and networking opportunities. This is a really great time to make sure that we're making the most of our online connections, and LinkedIn is one of those places where we can do just that. So we all have an online presence, and if we do nothing to develop this presence, then we allow others to determine our image. And carefully building our social media profiles and activities allows you to create the image that you want to present to the world. And LinkedIn is a social media platform that can have the biggest impact on your professional presence. So who is managing your online presence? And hopefully after today's presentation, you can all say that you are managing your online presence. So Cindy, would you like to go ahead and start with our first poll question, and that'll give us an idea of everyone's experience with LinkedIn. Okay. So just to get an idea of kind of who all is on the call today, getting a feel for how often you use LinkedIn, or if you even use LinkedIn at all, go ahead and answer those questions. So you can either you don't have a LinkedIn profile at all, or you've got an old profile you can't get into, and that's often the case if you used an old work email address and you didn't keep that updated, and then you end up locked out of your account. You started setting up a LinkedIn profile, so you're just getting started and you've got a lot left to learn and complete. Or you've got a LinkedIn profile and you use it occasionally, so there's an opportunity for you to get some ideas of how you can be more effective with working with LinkedIn. And then there's some of us that use LinkedIn all of the time. So Cindy, do we have any more people that look like they're needing to answer the poll question?
Got somebody that can't see it. So if you want to go ahead, if you can't see the poll, please go ahead and just put your answer in the chat. The answers are, I don't have a LinkedIn profile. I have an old profile I can't get into. I started setting up my LinkedIn profile. I have a LinkedIn profile and use it occasionally, or I use it all the time. So those are the answers. So just, if you want to just put your notes in chat, then we can go ahead and count you in as the polling. So I'm going to go ahead and end the polling, and I'll share the results here with everybody.
So it looks like we've got most of our attendees are using it occasionally, so hopefully you can get some ideas of how to make a little bit more use out of your LinkedIn profile and get a little bit more active. And for those who are just getting started, there'll be some good information to help you build that profile and build your network. Thank you, Cindy.
Okay.
Okay. So today's agenda, we'll take a look at what the power of LinkedIn is, how we can reach a much larger group of people than we could if we were just meeting in person. We'll take a look at creating those LinkedIn profiles. What are some of those key areas that you'll want to update and keep updated? We'll take a look at building your network with connections and really nurturing those connections that you have, particularly while we're all disconnected from live events. That'll be helpful. And then using LinkedIn effectively with groups and activities and taking advantage of all the opportunities to post content. We'll take a look at how to promote your business. So for those of our members and attendees who have their own businesses, this is a great platform to share your expertise. And for those of us in chapter leader roles, this is a great place to promote your chapter, your activities, and do some research on potential speakers and members. And then we'll finish up with a few LinkedIn tips. So after this presentation, we'll capture a lot of that information, tips, and resources. We'll put together a nice resource document and get that out to attendees so that they've got some additional resources to work with. And if you've got any questions or suggestions on how you've been using LinkedIn, go ahead and put those in the chat feature as well. We'll capture that information to share with everyone. So the power of LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has a huge impact on a professional environment and giving us an opportunity to reach more people than we've ever met in person. The mission of LinkedIn is very simple. It's to connect the world's professionals and make them more productive and successful. And hopefully after today, you'll be able to take advantage of all of the features that LinkedIn has and really take it, your career to that next level as well. One of the most recent statistics, there's over 690 million users in over 200 countries. So again, that just shows you the reach that you can have when using your LinkedIn profile. So there are several key areas of your LinkedIn profile that you'll want to make sure that you have completed and keep updated. And just some of those are going to be that photo, your professional headshot, a background image. They let you create a picture for the background of your LinkedIn profile, so your users will see that as they're scrolling through your profile. It's a great opportunity to showcase something that's important to you, something that represents you, or just an image of a nice picture that you'd like to have in the background. You can also include a copy of either your company's logo or any slogans and things like that that are meaningful for you. That's a great place to put that. And for anyone who's been to my LinkedIn profile, you'll notice that my background image is a nice picture of all of my AFWA swag following a spring conference. So it's pretty easy to find out what's important to me when you're looking at my LinkedIn profile. And then your headline. This is the first thing that people will see in addition to your profile picture. And it's just a quick summary of you, what it is that you do, what you bring to your clients or your customers, something that you want people to take away from visiting your profile. What will happen is it will default to your current position and company, but you're definitely able to go in and create a more meaningful or interesting headline. So definitely take advantage of that if you haven't. And then your about section is where you can really put in a lot of detail about your background, what skill sets you have, what you offer to your customers and clients, your expertise. Those are a great place to keep updated as you're going through your career, as you change positions, as you complete degrees and certifications. That's some great information to share. And then one of the bigger sections is going to be your employment history. So this is what you want to make sure is up to date and current, so people can see where have you worked, what was the dates of your employment, and then you can go into a lot more detail on what were your roles and responsibilities, your accomplishments. So think about what your resume looks like, where you're limited in space. Within your LinkedIn profile, you've got a little bit more room to work with. So if you want to include a little bit more detail on your accomplishments and the systems that you're working with, things like that, that's a great place to do that. And one of the other things too is you can include your volunteer roles. So when we take a peek at my profile in a second, you'll see that I've got quite a lot of my AFWA activities on there. And again, I'm giving them priority in my profile by making sure that I'm sharing all of those skill sets and those experiences with the rest of my professional experience. So let's go ahead and take a look at our example of our LinkedIn profile. And I've got mine up here. Okay, so is everyone able to see my LinkedIn screen right now? Cindy, can you see my LinkedIn?
Yes, Laura, we can see it.
Okay, good.
Sorry, I was on mute.
I know. Okay, so if you have not been using LinkedIn a lot, you'll want to get very familiar with the option at the top of the screen, and that's where you're going to find a lot of the search capabilities for messaging, your notifications. But when you're working to develop your profile, this Me button up here is going to be where you'll do a lot of your activities and update your accounts. So when I go up here and I'm going to view my profile, this is where I can go in and make edits. I can go in and add details on my jobs. I can add, update my headline. I can change my profile picture or my background picture here. And this is another reason that you should be taking full advantage of your AFWA leadership opportunities with all of those headshots that we do every year with our national board. It's a great place to capture that professional profile picture. And then our about section is where you can talk about your skill sets, so what you've been working on, what your goals are, anything that sounds like a nice summary of your professional self, what you want someone else to know about you. If you're looking for to build your own business, if you're looking to build your client base for your current position or your current company, this is a great place to put all of that detail. And then when we scroll down through my experience section, the AFWA activities definitely come up first. So you can see under one company, I've listed my last few positions so people can see, yes, I've been there a few years, but I've been doing different things throughout that time. You can include attachments for projects or anything that you've worked on, any images or logos, you can include that as well. And my current day job, you have to scroll through to find it. So I have added that when I started with SV Probe. What I haven't stopped to do is actually add the content and the details, so we can do that right now. And whenever you want to edit those, just click on that little pencil and it'll let you edit your titles, kind of your roles and descriptions, any of that detail. It's my current position, so I've got that checked. And if we scroll down, here's where we can put the description. And I finally stopped to pull some information on the company and my role the other day. so that I can add it to my LinkedIn profile. So simple as copying and pasting. And when you've completed that, you can hit save. And now I finally have some information and details under my current position with SB Pro. Through the rest of your education and experience, any degrees, any that you've completed or you're working on, this is the spot to put it in. This is also going to be helpful as you're searching for connections with classmates, coworkers. Making sure that you've got those listed will make it easier when you're searching for people and when they're searching for you. And licenses and certifications. So this is a great one for our members to really promote their certifications and professional achievements in this section. So when we did, the IMA actually created those little images and logos for the CMA. So I think if you check with any of your other organizations that are issuing your licenses, if they've got those available, make sure that you've added that. That just adds a little bit more to your profile. And this is where you can also include volunteer experiences. So those organizations and causes that are important to you, that you've spent your time in and you'd like to share with other people on LinkedIn. Again, you can makes it easy to find people that share common interest, and then you can connect with them as well. Skills and endorsements. This is an area where it's very quick and easy for people to endorse you if you're really good in financial statements, if you're really good in audit, if you're good in leadership, communications, anything like that. This is where they can go in and acknowledge that, and it really helps to focus on what your skill sets are as people are looking for different people and skills within LinkedIn. Your profile is going to come up when they're doing their searches. And then the recommendation section is a great spot when you're looking for something with a little bit more detail. If you have staff that you'd like to really recommend, this is a great place to do that, where you can showcase their experience and their expertise. And you can also reach out to your employers, your bosses, your coworkers, if you'd like to make sure that you've got that information updated and request a recommendation from them. There's the option to give it, your approval. If somebody has submitted that, you can make sure that the dates are correct or the descriptions is accurate before you post that to your profile. Again, it just builds a little bit more credibility, really showcases your professionalism and experience and expertise. You can also add your accomplishments or different projects that you've been working on within that section. And then there's also a section to showcase your interests. So if you're following companies or individual thought leaders, this is a place where you can add more detail for what's important to you. And again, it's a nice way to kind of showcase what's important to you as people are looking through your profile. So it's pretty easy to go in and add any of those sections or add more positions or more descriptions. So just click on those little blue boxes and your little edit buttons here as well. Cindy, do we have any questions or thoughts while we're in this section?
No questions right now, Laura.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and jump into poll question number 2. Okay, so what part of your profile would you like to update? Sometimes people will forget to change their latest employer, or their headline is in that default and they want to add a little bit more detail, or that about description is pretty short and they want to add a little bit more information there. So far, it looks about even.
So again, if you're not seeing the polling question, just let us know. Okay, so somebody wants us to repeat it here.
Okay. So the question is, what part of your profile would you like to update? It could be either your headline, the about description, your experience section, your recommendations and endorsements, or your profile picture or background image.
Okay, it looks like we got 50 of 53. So I'm going to go ahead and end it, Laura.
Okay. So just barely winning out is our recommendations and endorsements. So that's a great place as you're going through your career to make sure that you're asking for those recommendations from people that worked with you. Take advantage of the opportunity to really support your staff or your former employees and really recognize their experience and expertise. Right now, we're experiencing a lot of uh, uncertainty with our current jobs, and a lot of people are really either looking for a new position because their position has been eliminated or their company's in just having some financial troubles. So these are really easy things that we can do to help each other and to make sure that we're supporting our fellow members within our chapters, just to highlight what their skill sets are. So that's an easy thing that we can do within LinkedIn. Thank you, Cindy. So the next thing, once we actually have a profile, is to really build that network, because that's where a lot of the power is going to come from when we're trying to use LinkedIn for searching, to promote our businesses, to share content and our expertise. So the bigger that you grow your network, the farther reach you will have when you're posting within LinkedIn. So a great place to start is to connect with your current coworkers, classmates. Again, having those dates on your education is going to help people find you. Former bosses. Once you're connected, then it's easier for them to do those recommendations. So it helps to stay connected on LinkedIn. AFWA members, whether it's in your chapter or someone across the country, definitely take advantage of our own network. And then if you're client facing, definitely be connected to your clients, so when they can add recommendations or endorsements for you, and too, so that as you're posting content and resources on LinkedIn, they're able to see what expertise and skill set you're sharing with them and made available to everyone. When we do personal invitations to connect, take advantage of that feature to personalize that message. I know I get a lot of requests to connect, and one of the first things I look for, if it's somebody that's with AFWA, either my chapter or that I've served with on a national role, or someone I met at a conference, or any AFW member anywhere, I'm quickly going to accept that connection request. One thing that, because this is such a large opportunity to connect with people all over, it helps if you decide what connections you're going to accept. So if you want to make sure that you know these people, or there's a reason to be connecting with them, you don't have to accept every connection request you get. Some are going to be more meaningful than others. So just come up with a method that makes sense for you. One of the things that I look for is when I'm accepting a request to connect, I'm opening up my entire network to this person. So there needs to be a reason for me to kind of create that opportunity for them to reach those people. So again, that's why it's important for me to think about who is asking to connect with me. And then the more connections you have, the more results, it increases the results when you're doing searches. It also increases the opportunity for you to show up in other people's search results. So it's that power of that first connection, that second connection, and that third connection. So once you've created your profile, you've developed your network, and those are things that you can continuously work on, this is where a lot of people may not be taking full advantage of LinkedIn, and this is where we can actually actively use our LinkedIn account, and that's going to create that professional presence for us. So we can participate in groups. We can either do groups like our alumni associations. We'll have a lot of LinkedIn groups for their members to really connect and share information. This also gives you an opportunity to reach out personally to members of those groups. So it's an opportunity to find people with similar experience, people that have the same kind of challenges or experience in education or certifications. We can follow companies and thought leaders. So as we go through our newsfeed, the people that we're connected to, their posts are going to show up. We can see what they're sharing. We can also see what companies we're following and what thought leaders. So if you've got different experts in areas that you'd like to keep track of what their content is, this is a great way to do that as well. You can also post your comments, share posts and articles. So when AFWA headquarters is posting events and upcoming conferences, any updated press releases, when we talk about the annual MOVE project, all of those posts are very easy for us to like, celebrate, love, and put other notations. We can put our comments. We can share that information with our own connections. And then taking advantage of that recommendation and endorsement, again, that just shows your professionalism, that helps your connections as well. And then just a few ideas of some success stories. When I have been working on collections with my own company and coming up into emails that don't get responded to or voicemails that don't get a call back, I've actually gone out and used LinkedIn to search for the right person at my customer to reach out to get resolution. So that's been, I've had 3 cases where that's been really successful for me, which is not something that most people would think of, to track down the right accounts payable person, or in my case, to track down the right accounting manager or controller to help me get those issues resolved. So you can actually take advantage of your LinkedIn account for things like that.
Laura, we do have a question. The question is, do you recommend accepting connection requests from recruiters?
You know what? I do, just because you never know who's going to be connected to them. They seem to have really strong networks within your area. So if you would like to be able to connect with them, they may have an opportunity for you. They may be having something that might work well for one of your connections. And I think right now in particular, even if you are not looking, if you've got a connection with a recruiter and they're looking for a position, if you like or comment on it, then that shows up in your feed. So you never know who in your own network might be looking for a position, and maybe you've helped someone find out an opportunity that would help them in the next step of their career. So definitely that is an opportunity for us. Thank you for that question. So let's take a peek at LinkedIn and see some of those in action. So for any of us, we're able to join different groups. And so we do that going up into the work section here and then clicking on our group button. And I believe you're still limited to 50 groups. And at the moment, I have 49. So yes, there's definitely an opportunity to join and be active and be involved with different groups in different areas, whether it's a specific location. So anyone who's in small businesses in your area, there might be a group set up for that. Possibly your Chamber of Commerce has different groups to really promote sharing content and information within chamber members or within your area. Particular certifications, there should be some opportunities for people with specific skill sets in different areas. So again, there's a lot of AFWA groups that I'm part of. There can be some that are specifically for networking or job searching, different areas for alumni, or in this case, some of our local recruiters have also set up LinkedIn groups. Again, a great place to get some resources and ideas on job searching, what the market's like. If there's any open positions, they're welcome to post those in there as well. Again, lots of alumni groups, different nonprofit organizations might have information out there as well. And all of those people that are in those groups, you now have the opportunity to message directly with them. So that's another opportunity for joining different groups. If you're looking to connect with a particular company or particular person, you can find out what groups they're in, and then if there's an opportunity to join that, that gives you another opportunity to connect with them. It's also a great place to share information on upcoming events and opportunities if you want to promote. So we can go out to the LinkedIn CPA community, and we can start a conversation if we want. One of the things that we have going on next week is our Connect Advance Lead Conference. And with that, the foundation is doing some fundraising. So let's go ahead and help them out and promote the foundation fundraising activities. So we can post and encourage all of the CPAs to help support that event. So now we have 16,842 members of the LinkedIn CPA group that are now aware of the Kendra Scott fundraiser for our foundation of AFWA going on next week. So hopefully we have a few more people that help out the foundation scholarship fundraising. So that's one of the opportunities that we have within groups to use that effectively and promote different events and causes and organizations that are important to you. It's also an opportunity where you can showcase your expertise in a particular area. Okay. Is there any other spots that you might want to take a look at how we can maximize the use of our LinkedIn? Let's take a peek at that news feed. So from our home button, we can see, if we scroll down, we can see what is going on in my news feed. And so anything that my immediate connections are posting or commenting on, or companies and individuals that I'm following, I can actually see their posts and see what's important. I can go in and like things. I can go in and share information. So we can do really help support the different organizations, chapters, and our AFW members by supporting what they're posting and getting that information out to all of our connections as well. So you don't have to have your immediate connection actually posting the original content. They're just sharing or liking or commenting on it. You'll actually be able to see it on your profile news feed. And this is a great way to find potential speakers or topics or things that might be of interest for your chapters as well. So definitely taking some time to scroll through this newsfeed is an opportunity just to stay current on different events and learning opportunities. Any questions on how to make the most out of our LinkedIn accounts?
All right, it looks like we've got a question here. It says, how much can people see who aren't in your network?
But there's a lot of functionality within your security settings, so let's go over there. If you're concerned about how much other people can see, definitely going into that privacy section. There's a lot of questions that you can go in and say yes or no to. So definitely take a few minutes to go through that, where you can close off, only your contact information will be available to your immediate connections, no one else. So this is where you'll want to make those selections. And there's a lot of things to choose from. And this is where you want to spend a few minutes to just update that to what's going to be comfortable for you.
Okay, we got one more question, Laura. It says, I'd like to contact you personally. Would the messaging feature work for me if I am not already in your contact list?
I think everyone might have the opportunity to use in messaging within their own profile. If not, you can always put in a request to connect with a personalized message, and I can see that as well. If we're in groups, you can send me a message as well, even if we're not connected. So that's, again, the power of being in groups where other people are at. I think when I'm searching for someone and I'm looking for that opportunity to reach out to them, because I do actually have a paid subscription for LinkedIn. You don't have to for most everything that you'll need to use. I actually have a lot of messages I can use, so that's one of the things that I will take advantage of. Each month I can reach out to people I'm not connected with and just have a conversation with them, share information on upcoming events, conferences, networking events, things like that.
Okay, Lauren, we got one more question. It says, for the experience section, do you recommend using bullet points or block text about past or current roles?
Whatever's comfortable for you. I think when we're looking at our resumes, we're really limited to space and things like that. So bullet points have been more effective there. If you want to go into a little bit more detail, you definitely have the room to do that.
Okay, that's all we have for now.
Okay. So let's look at our search feature. So one of the most powerful parts of LinkedIn is that search feature, and that's going to be that big box on the top. And you can search for people. If you're in the market for looking for a new job, definitely take advantage of that functionality. If you're just looking for content, thought leaders, what's going on in a particular area of interest, whether it's Bitcoin, cybersecurity, PPP, COVID-19, anything like that, you can type in and find the content that people are sharing on LinkedIn. If you're doing some research on companies, maybe you're interviewing and you just want a little bit more information on the company itself, what they're promoting, their employees, this is where you can do some searching on that. If you're looking for schools and planning some advanced graduate work and you're looking at some choices, you can research here. This is also where you can look for those groups to join that might be either of interest to you or really help you with your career. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for people. So if we wanted to search on people, let's say I'm going to look for a CPA who has speaking experience in Phoenix. I can limit it to a geographical area. So let's take a peek and see who comes up in my search for CPAs with some speaking experience. And if I want to limit it to just people I know, I end up with a nice list of people in the Phoenix area that have been speakers. Actually, a few of them are familiar as past speakers for our chapter events. And our different seminars and events. So this is an opportunity to look for people who maybe you didn't know are used to speaking if you want to reach out to them. It's also where you can, if you're just looking to see what somebody's profile, maybe you're looking to see what do CFOs, what does their experience look like, things like that. You can do a lot of searching within this part of LinkedIn and definitely take advantage of that opportunity. More questions in this section.
So there's one, Laura, there's one more question. It says, I'm bilingual. Should I write my profile in both languages?
That is a good question. I don't know the best answer for that one. I think it depends on what makes sense for you, what you're looking for, who you're looking to connect with. If you're mostly in one area and the prominent language is in English, maybe it doesn't help to create a second version of that. At the very least, in your profile, make sure that you put that you're bilingual and which language it is that you also speak. There might be some sections if you want to showcase that. You should have enough room within your description to share some of that information. But we'll add that to our section to take a look at for some additional questions.
Okay, that's all we have.
Okay, so within LinkedIn, we have a great opportunity to promote your business. If you're a small business owner, if you're actually in the partner or shareholder position with your company, again, taking advantage of things like a company page is going to be important to create not only your own professional presence, but that professional presence for your company as well. You have the opportunity to post content or resources. Really being able to showcase your expertise, what services that you're providing and things like that. This is a great place to showcase that. You can post it within your own profile. You can post articles and really get a little bit more detail. So when we're posting just comments within our particular news feed, we're going to be limited in how much information and space that we can use. But if you've got a little bit more detail you'd like to share, creating that article is going to give you a great opportunity to showcase that, get your contact information out there, and let people know what it is that you do and what you can do for them. There's also the opportunity to use some paid advertising. So if you're trying to market your controllers or accounting managers within small and medium-sized companies, you can create an ad to showcase what your services are and target those individuals in your area. If you're looking for people that are working on tax or anything like that, you can really target your advertising opportunities within LinkedIn as well. Actually, let's go ahead and pop out and we'll show you what a company page looks like. So I did set up a company page for our chapter. And the one thing that was required to set this up was a domain-specific email address. So our Gmail addresses a lot of our chapters use, that won't let you create this company page, but we were able to use our chapter at Mesa East Valley AFWA.org to create our company page. And this is a spot where you can add your events, your contact information, tell a little bit more about what your organization is and does, and just give another opportunity to promote, whether it's an event, whether it's just content that you've got to share. This is where you can do that. You have any questions from business owners that are looking to take advantage of LinkedIn?
Or we have one more question
Okay.
here. It
Okay.
says, how often do you recommend logging in, and can you set it up so that you get email notifications of messages so that you don't miss anything directed specifically to you?
So frequency of getting messages, that same section where they had settings and privacy, that's where you're going to go if you want to change the frequency of email messages. So you can get your notifications daily or weekly. You can set up your group email notifications, things like that. What can be helpful is if you have one email address that you can use as your primary address for your LinkedIn account. I actually use my Gmail address for that, and that way all of those notifications go to one section where I can spend time and go out every day and look at that, or if I don't have time to look at it every day, I can look at it every couple of days. Let's see, and as far as frequency of posting, I think you'll see a lot of different kind of recommendations, but I think consistency is probably going to be more helpful than just frequency. So if you only have time to do it once a week, then do it once a week, but try and be consistent. So again, that you're just putting your information out there and you're actively using it. If you have 15 minutes a day and you can go out every day and do that, that's great. But I would think I would aim for consistency first and then find out what's available on your schedule to do that. And I think there are also some opportunities for tools like Hootsuite or anything else out there that would be for helping you schedule posts and things like that. I'll put that on our list for additional resources and make sure you all have some information on that. Did that answer your question? So the same thing that we can do for our companies, we can also do for our chapters. So I know we have a lot of chapter and national leaders out here. So one of the things that LinkedIn is great for is, again, we can use the company page for our chapters. We can also create a chapter group. And this, again, you can open up either to just your chapter members, or you can open up to anyone who's interested in what your chapter is doing. Gives your members an opportunity, again, to promote their expertise by sharing content and opportunities. If they're looking to fill a position, they can post that job out there, and that gives more people an opportunity to find out what's going on and to share those opportunities as well. So that company page is really something that can have the face of the chapter, but your individual board members, if they're active within LinkedIn, that's going to have some great opportunities for your chapter to grow, to really come up with some great programming ideas. So that speaker search is where we can use that search function to look for, somebody who's going to be really knowledgeable in a particular area. If you're looking for someone to do a presentation on fraud, you can be searching for those CFE professionals out there. You can look for someone who's maybe working in the State Auditor General's office. They're always great with different presentations and stories on what they're working on. It's also an opportunity to search for some potential members. If you have an event coming up that maybe is targeted to controllers, whether it's talking about month-end close or managing an accounting department, you can take time to look for people that might be interested in that within your area and then invite them to that event.
So Laura, we have a question. Is it better to have your chapter as a company, a group, or both?
If you've got the time and resources, you can put up both. We do for the Macy's Valley chapter. If you have a limited time and limited capacity to do a lot, maybe just pick one. But they're going to be on different experiences. So that chapter group is just a forum where people can connect with each other. Those people will have the opportunity to post information that they're looking for, or events that they're having, or open positions, or just talking about their services, or maybe they've got a great article that's going to be useful. They can control that content. Your company page is something that you and a couple of your members who are set up as admins will be able to control the content. So they're different experiences, but they're both opportunities to promote your chapter and your events. Now, I think for some chapter groups, you actually have the opportunity to decide who's going to be in that. Do you want to restrict it to just, your chapter members, or do you want to open it up to anyone? And it depends on what you want to use it for. If you're just going to be sharing content and information and want to treat that like a member benefit of you're a member of you're a paid member of our organization, we're going to let you in here for that sort of private chat and networking opportunities. You can make it selective of who is going to be in there. If you want to use that opportunity to promote it within your community, within people who are not currently members, and really hopefully get some additional members, I would say open that up to members and non-members. And then also LinkedIn had a great event feature years and years ago, and then they took that away, and they recently brought that back in a different format. So there's a new opportunity to promote events within your chapters or other events that you'd like to attend. So there's an opportunity to create events out there. So let's see if we can find that button, just to reintroduce you all to that. Okay, so on the left side of your screen, all the way down to the bottom, there's a little box you'll probably see that says events, and that's where you can add a new event. You can create some snazzy pictures in the background. You can give it a name. In this case, it's going to let you either do it as yourself or as an admin for the chapter. I can post it from our chapter's perspective. Again, put some information on dates and times. What's the event like? Most of us are still doing a lot of virtual events, so that's an easy way to promote that beyond your immediate area and give some ideas on what that event looks like. And you can always link it to a chapter website, an Eventbrite registration link, anything like that. So you can start doing those again. Any ideas, questions, or comments on how we can use LinkedIn for our chapters?
Nope. Well, here's one. Where does the event information show up on LinkedIn?
You know what? That's one thing I'm still trying to figure out how we find that. It used to be very simple for people to do a search on that, but let me go through and do a little bit more research on that, and I'll make sure to include that with our tips and tricks information for you all. I think when it first came back, it was simply here you could create the event and then you could share it with your immediate connections, but I believe it's opened up a little bit more recently than that. But we'll get that information for you in our tips and tricks. So just we'll wrap up this session with just a few tips and resources, particularly when we're in a time with a lot of uncertainty and a lot of people are having challenges. Maybe they've recently lost their job or they've had to be cut back. Just a simple opportunity for you to click and share and like and make a comment on a post where one of your connections is looking to fill a position. That's going to be visible on your news feed, and that's going to make it so people that you're connected to can see opportunities, and you don't know who's looking, you don't know if there's going to be a great fit. So taking some time just to share that information is going to have a big impact on your immediate connections. There's also a lot of content and courses in the learning module. So that's, again, a newer feature within LinkedIn that I've just started taking advantage of myself. So if you go up to the very top right and click on that learning, it's going to show you some different options, opportunities. You can search for different skill sets if you're looking for public speaking, if you're looking for project management, if you're looking for LinkedIn. Definitely, this is some great resources and information for you in here. Some of them are an hour or so, some might be a little bit quicker, some might be a little bit more in detail. So definitely explore the opportunities to continue your professional development with their learning module. And then review your settings and privacy options. There's a lot of questions that you can go in and answer, so it's going to take a little time. If you go back to your LinkedIn profile under Me, your settings and privacies, there's so many questions on your account, on the privacy, on your communications, how you want ads coming to you. So, there's a lot of questions, a lot of options. Take some time to go through those and make sure that you're set up so that you're comfortable with where your information is going and who can reach out to you.
Laura, we have one other question.
Yes.
I'm guessing your chapter would be a good template for how to use LinkedIn effectively. Any other chapters you want to hold up as good examples?
I think if you go back in to look at who we've been recognizing over the last few years in our awards, I think that would be a great place to start, and we'll include some of that in our tips and tricks as well.
Thanks, Laura. Okay, and here's another one. It says, how much spam is on LinkedIn, meaning communications that you don't want, or can you block most all of that via privacy settings?
There's a lot you can do within the privacy settings, and again, as you're going through your own newsfeed, if you're finding a particular person who's posting stuff that you really don't want to see, you don't have to disconnect from them together. You can actually just select I don't want to see posts from them. So if you find someone who maybe is sharing stuff you're not interested in seeing, there's an opportunity to do that within that individual's post. I've only used that once in the years I've been working with LinkedIn, and it was just some posts that I didn't want to see, so I went ahead and selected to block that content, and that was pretty easy to do. And then I think if you're concerned about getting a whole lot of emails, because that can be the case, definitely go in and set up those frequencies within your settings and privacy sections. We do have a lot of people that will be promoting. So when you're looking at your news feed, you'll see anything that's posted from your immediate connections, but then there'll be promoted ads. Within that, there'll be ads on the left and the right side of your profile as well. So you can easily skip through those and then again, look at those options within your settings. I also will get a lot of requests to connect from people that, again, they're in business development, they're in sales, they're looking to sell their services and things like that. A lot of times you'll get very canned messages within that, and it's funny because people will use the same one on me that they use on everyone else, and it's easy for me to understand. They've clearly not read my profile if they're trying to sell their services for my CPA firm, because I don't have a CPA firm. And if you've read my profile, I don't work in public accounting. So that's pretty easy for me to see who's done their homework and who hasn't. So again, that's one way for me to just not accept that connection request. Or if I'm going through my LinkedIn messages and I've got a message there, I can just let it sit there if I don't have time to respond to that. There's a lot of people that will reach out to me if it's not something that I can do or that I need. Sometimes I'll stop and think, is that something that somebody else in my chapter might benefit from? Is that something that another member in AFWA might benefit from? Is that a potential speaker or sponsor for the national organization? So I do open myself up a little bit more just within that role than I would otherwise. I hope that answered that question for you.
Laura, we have one other quick question here. You said you had a paid subscription. What does that offer you versus a free account, and do you recommend it?
Almost everything that you need to do, you can do with your free account. I think people that maybe are heavily into recruiting or business development, they might find a little bit more benefit from some options that are in the paid one. The reason I actually chose that one is I do a lot of heavy searching when it comes time to prepping for our seminars, whether I'm looking for speakers or I'm updating my list of people to send out postcards to, or I'm looking for new people to reach out to. So I have some very heavy searching history, and I will trigger their little limits, and I'll get nasty notices that I am now past that. So that's why I actually did go into that. I think it creates some opportunities for some additional insights. But for unless you're into those roles, definitely you can maximize your free LinkedIn option, and you don't need to pay for most everything that's available. So yes, maximize your free LinkedIn options. And then there's so much great content, resources, and information available even within LinkedIn. So take advantage of that LinkedIn Help Center when you've come across questions. How do I do this? So let's make sure that we can find that. So if you go back down, on the far right side, down towards the bottom, there's a little button that says Help Center. Go ahead and click that one, and it will bring you to a great resource if you're looking for information on your profiles, if you're looking on information on connections and networks and things like that. This is going to have just so much information to help you make the most out of your LinkedIn profile. And if you are not already connected to me, go ahead and hunt me down on LinkedIn. Send me a personalized request to connect. Throw in AFWA in there, and you know I'll be quick to respond to that one. So that is all the information I had to share. Do we have any more questions or ideas or suggestions?
No, we just have a nice comment. It says, thanks so much. This was a great inspiration to up our chapter's presence on LinkedIn. So thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to seeing lots of great information and resources and virtual networking and happy hour events so that we can all participate in those.
Yes, great. Thank you all so much for joining us today. It looks like we're getting close to 1 o'clock here. So again, thank you so much. And I just want to mention too that if you haven't signed up for our leadership conference, I do encourage you to go out to that website on afwa.org and sign up. We have a phenomenal program set up. So we hope that you all will join us for that. It's coming up next week. It's a virtual conference, so everybody can enjoy the conference from their home and be able to participate where you may not have been able to travel to this event. So we're very excited about it. We have an excellent program set up. So we do hope you'll join us. The website is afwa.org. leadership/conference. So hopefully you all can sign up and enjoy the program with us. And Laura, I want to thank you so much for doing this program. It was really very good. I know I got some information too out of this, and we've got a couple people asking about the third polling question because of the CPE. So yeah. I'm going to go ahead and launch that real quick for those of you that want to take this, but we'll go ahead and get everything set up. So for those of you that are trying to qualify for the CPE. So thank you so much again for doing this. Does anybody have any last questions? We got another comment here. It says, thank you so much, Laura. I plan to use many of these new tips and tricks I learned to have a better LinkedIn presence. Look for my connection request. That was from Catherine Dill. So one of the things too for all of you that are still on the line, keep in mind we record this, so you can go onto our website and listen to this again in case you might have missed something. And you can also, it's a great program that you could share with your chapter. So when you have a chapter meeting, if you want to do a virtual chapter meeting, and we recognize that not everybody can get together right now. So AFWA does have a service right now where we're offering our Zoom line to our chapters if you want to hold a meeting. So this would be a great program to do for your chapter. So again, keep in mind that is available on our website as a service to you as members. All right, it looks like I'm going to go ahead and end the polling here, and I'll share the results. And it looks like we got about 1 to 5 for the groups.
Hopefully everyone has actually joined the AFWA national group, so you can start sharing content and really connecting with members across the country. And then again, there's lots of different chapter groups as well, and then definitely take advantage of those groups that are out there for areas that you're interested in, or particular areas that as what your experience and focus is. If you're a nonprofit, look for some of those nonprofit groups. If you're an audit, look for some of those audit groups, and really take advantage of that. Thank you, Cindy.
Yes. Thank you so much. And like Laura said too, anytime you see anything from AFWA National, please feel free to share it. We really hope that you will. And like I said, it's a great way for you to practice with your own LinkedIn account. You don't have to create individual content. You can share ours. So thank you all so much. And Laura, thank you so much. And I just want to thank you too for, your job as president this year. You did a great job for AFWA, and we were very lucky to have you, and looking forward to continuing working with you. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.